I would just start my presentation today. And firstly, thank you very much to attend my webinar. And well, today was raining in Germany, and I guess it's because of the raining and the bad weather, so not many people like to go to the conference. And yeah, I'm Jinping Gong, originally from China, and I would very like to talk about topics on career choice in different industries today. My presentation is like more suitable for students or for junior professionals which just start their career. And here's this overview of my presentation today in the first part, and this will be many about a case study, and the case comes from my own experience. And it's expected to expand your vision and on career choice, which can be related to your degree education. And the second part is about what else can you do. You can work for industry which was not related to your degree education. And the third part is to picking a job or career. And by the way, if you have any questions, just stop me and ask me. We only have 3 participants, so I guess we can be in a rather free and better style. Okay, so, oops. So what can you do with your degree? Do you have any ideas that what can you do with your degrees, and do you already have any ideas? I'm not sure, like 3 of you are already employees in a certain, for an organization, or you are just students. But I think it's clear that before you graduate, you should have some ideas that what can you do with your degrees. And today I'm going to introduce the case study, and this is based on my personal experience. And you see here, this is the course in my course in my degree education, and this is mainly a scientific-based education. You find many subjects about biotechnologies and chemistry and also agriculture. And I have 2 subjects which was related to economy or marketing, but they are not so important and they don't take many marks in my education. And so up here, do you have any idea that what can I do with my degrees? And can you guess that which industry is suitable for me? Yes, everyone. I think many people would come to the conclusion that of course I can work for the agricultural industry because this is exactly the subject that I study. Yes, it's true. I can study in the agriculture. And so let's come to the next page and to see how many industries I was choosing for my career development and when I was looking for a job. And see here, actually, I can work for much more industries rather than the agriculture industry. I can work for the bio or pharma industry, like for example, like in the bio. And I can also work for chemical industry, like in fast food, and food, like in mass, and cosmetic, and biostore. And maybe you don't know biostore, but you should know Nivea. It's a very famous cosmetic product. Originating from biostore. And I can also work for philanthropy organizations, and of course I can also work as a research assistant or PhD in a research institute or university. And the logo below is the logo from the Max Planck Institute. And so here the main principle to choose an industry is that Actually, the choice for industry is not so narrow, and in many times you always can find related industry, and which was not just one, but actually much more related industries which would accept your profile. Like I study horticulture or agriculture, but I can still work for many other industries, which they still accept my education profile. And just to make a more detailed example, why fast food would like to accept my application? Because fast food, they have some branches company which was focused in agriculture or horticultural science, and and, and another example is Bayer, and for Bayer they produce herbicide. So in this branch where they produce herbicide, for sure they need some people who study horticulture science. Yeah. So just to the point I want to mention again here is just to broaden your vision and to know living yourself for choosing the industry. And in the next page, I'm going to talk about the specialties, the job title. So I was planning to work in the industry, and then I also have to make a list for the potential jobs or vacancy that I can work for. And those are the lists I made when I was applying for the industry. And I can work as a research assistant, and I can work as a gardener or agronomist, and of course I can work as a farm manager, and in some extent I can also work as a sales or marketing for the domestic or international market. And for project manager also possible because I study the research and I study a scientific subject. So if there's an R&D project, and of course I have the potentiality to become a project manager. And the consultant of business development. And why can I become a consultant of business development? If I study just to take myself again as an example, if I study international horticultural science, then of course I can be a consultant and working for the international business of horticulture, international horticulture business between Germany and China, for example. So yeah, so as a Erasmus student, I think this is the advantage that I would like to say all of the Erasmus students, they have their advantage because they have a very international background. So and at least they know about the business situation in their home country, and they know about the business situation in their host country. So you have the possibility to become a consultant. And last choice is to become a PhD student, and this is very natural. I've seen many Erasmus students considering about it. So let's go to the next part. And in this part is the important part of today. And what else can you do to your career development? And it's about a choice that in a field that you are not familiar with. So many people are afraid of choosing the industry which they are not familiar with, and why they are not working, why they are not willing to working for those industries. It is quite understandable because there are some reasons that may keep you outside of the choice. For example, if there are some industry and you are unfamiliar and you are thinking about that your expertise may be not suitable for those industries, and also those industries, they might have high standard and you are afraid, you are not so confident to apply for that, or they may be just too strange for you. Yeah. So I will just make a short list of the potential industry that you can make a choice for your career development that is in your company is. And here there's consulting and finance and legal and Fortune 500. First for the consulting company, and this is a very nice industry and suitable for young and ambitious people. And well, there's some photos here, but it doesn't come out. Yeah. So normally the consulting company works like that. And if you are the consultant working for a consulting company and you receive some project from your client, the business partner, and normally those projects are the business problem that in your client own company, and they cannot solve those companies, or they can solve those problems, but if they solve those problems, that would be too expensive for themselves to solve the problem. So they ask the external consulting company to work for them. So when you receive the project and you try to figure out the important elements in those projects, like actually the project is a reference a business problem. So you try to figure out the important elements in those business problems. For example, let's make an example. There's a Brazilian company who wants to sell some vehicles in Germany, and those vehicles use bioethanol, and they have some problem in the marketing. So they want to figure out what kinds of problem it is. And so as a consulting company, you work for this project, and you start to make some research and study the important elements in the marketing of a bioethanol vehicle. And normally it's about, for example, like the design, the appearance, and for example, also because of the cost, and also some cultural difference, because it simply might be because the German client doesn't want to use bioethanol vehicle. So, and you have to figure out those questions and answer those questions to your client. And that's how the consulting company makes profit. And many people, many students are not familiar with consulting company, and they believe the consulting company has a high standard in receiving the applicant. It is indeed, but however, there's no limitation. There's no subject. Normally, there's no subject limitation to the from the consulting companies. And whatever which area you work for, you always can apply for the consulting company. But of course, there are some other criteria that you need to fix for. And well, seems that the PowerPoint didn't adapt it to this format quite well. So there's some criteria I can repeat again. And for example, like you need to be a smart student, or you need to be a smart applicant, and you need to be a decision person. For example, you need to work for maybe more than 55 hours per week to be a consultant. And you need to be teamwork, and you need to be creative. But I would like to say for the international student, you have many other advantages. And you have a rather broader vision, and you are multicultural, and you are more international. So if you want to apply for the consulting company, I do believe that many people can be successful, and just be confident. In a second, I would like to introduce about the finance. I'm not very familiar with this industry, and all my knowledge comes from my colleagues and friends who are now working in the finance industry. And to work for this industry, of course, you need to have strong analytical skill. That's almost every job vacancy in the finance industry, they are always especially point out. And also, you need to have a good communication skill. And well, there's an example. I wonder if you have watched the recently very popular movie, The Wolf of the Wall Street. And in principle, I believe the story is very true. if you have watched that movies, you would realize there's a scenario that a group of farmers was trained to be very successful brokers. So to work in the finance industry, you really need to have good communication skills. But anyway, this is not a point for today. And the point for today is to work in the finance industry, you actually do not need to study a very special subject. And many people have this false impression that you need to study accounting or auditing or business management in order to work in a bank. But actually, that's not the truth. You can study natural science or engineering. There's some other job vacancies, actually very open mentioned vacancies in a bank or in any finance industries which they require the applicant, they have this science or engineering education background. And unfortunately, my photo didn't come out, but maybe you can find it by yourself. And you see that two vacancies in the very famous European bank. It's a UniCredit. And those two vacancies, they require, they don't require the applicant have a very special subject focusing in the business. Yeah. So the third part is legal industry. And of course, you can work in the legal industry to be an IT person or to be in the administration department, like a manager. And you can also work for human resource department. And this don't require really specialized knowledge. But why don't you try to become a patent attorney? And this is really a nice job and with high pay, and also just not so strict requirement to your education background. Any student who study natural science or engineering can be a patent attorney. And this is the industry I'm working for. However, somehow to work for the legal industry, the student also need to be smart, and they also need to be diligent. And there's one special situation here to work for the legal industry, and this is a lifetime study industry. That means once you work for legal industry, you need to keep studying until you retire, because there are many updates, many laws, regulations updating in the legal industries, and you need to follow those updating. So you really need to keep studying. And also another point is for the legal industry, you need to acquire some important qualification. For example, that I'm working for this European patent attorney qualification. Only I received those qualifications, and I can say myself a senior professional in this industry. Yeah, or just to there's a barrier. If you pass this barrier, and you can define yourself as a successful, a professional in this industry. And the last point here I want to mention is in this part is Fortune 500, and actually maybe Fortune 1000 in the world is also your choice, because in those global big companies, they always have programs like international training programs. And for those programs, they do not really need students have a very special subject. They welcome the students, the applicants who are very various, who have very various backgrounds. And another option is you can also work as a business consultant. And as I mentioned before, to work as a business consultant, and for example, like international business consultant, you need to understand the business situation. And as a Erasmus student, you have your advantage, like you know the business situation in your home country much better than the other applicants. And you also know about the business situation in your host country. So those would become the advantage of the international applicant. So let's go to the last part of my presentation today. This is about to pick up a job or to pick up a career. And I first would like to talk about my observation to the general characteristic of the Erasmus Mundus student or the international student. And many of the students, they are very international and they are open, friendly, and they have a multicultural background. But somehow there are some other factors which may be disadvantage for them to establish their careers. For example, like as far as I know, a large group of the Erasmus students, they don't make friends for their career. And they don't make friends, maybe they don't have the idea to make friends, but also it's difficult to make friends because you're rotating in 3 or 5 more different countries, and you cannot really decide which country you would like to settle down, and yeah, in one semester. So normally you make the final choice only in the last semester that you finally decide which country you prefer, France or Germany, in the last semester. But at that time, that would be a really rush time for many students to apply for a job in the host country, because maybe their visa has come to expire. So also another point for the international students is like actually it's a big change or challenging to their life when they are graduating from the Erasmus program. And why do we say that? Because when you graduate from the program, I think the first problem for you is you need to make a choice that you go back to your home country or you stay in your host country. And for many people, if you stay in the host country, that means that you are going too far away from the family, from your friends, and you need to establish your new social network in the host country, and you need to really getting adapted to the local community of the host country, and that is not easy. And on the other way around, it's also difficult for the Erasmus students to go back to their home country to start their career. And why do I say that? It's because you go abroad and you actually have the risk to lose some contact during your study. You know, you spend 2 or 3 years abroad, so you cannot always keep updating to all the information or all the business happening in your country. So you might lose some contact and you might lose some important information which is important for your career development in your own country. So I think that is the disadvantage for the international students and when they try to start their career. So we really need to know that we really need to realize that when you are about to start your career, are you ready to accept such kind of change in your life? Are you about to make a change? And the first is, are you about to decide to choose the right location? I think the time when you are graduating and the first choice in front of you is you have to make choice between the location of your working place. Will you choose your home country or will you choose your host country? And then you have to choose the right specialty, the right job title, and also you have to think about the industry you have interest and you are going to work for. So you really need to know what kind of person you are, and you have to know about your advantage and your personality, and in order to make change for yourself. So I have phrase here, but didn't appear on the screen. So we can say successful people really know themselves much more than the unsuccessful people. And also that we can say that many students, they didn't make friends, but actually you cannot just jump into a totally unfamiliar field without any preparation. And you really need to think about the ideas, think about your career, think about your career plans, and why you would receive your job to start your career, and why you would choose this certain industry instead of the others. And so you have to think about why would you take it. And it is because of money. It's because of you receive like 3,000 euros per month of salary, which is on the average of the German income line. So, and you are very happy for that, or it's because of the location. You receive a job that's offered by a company which was just like 30 meters from your apartment. So you need to, you don't need to wake up at 6 and take 1 hour bus to the company, and you can wake up at 8:30 and then have a coffee in the company and then go home at 5 or 6 and reach your home at 5 past 10 or something. And or it is because the personal reason, and so you would accept your job offer. It's because that the company who offer you a job is in the same city with your girlfriend or with your family, and or there might be some other reason which is more simple, or maybe because just your visa is going to expire, so you just receive this job offer because you want to renew your visa. So think about it, and to see the most important reason why you take a job is actually is good for your career development. And you have to also think about what can it lead you in the next 2 years when you receive a job, or let's say when you make a change. And you have to think about the reason is because you can become a senior manager, or you can become a senior scientist or senior engineer, or you can have a higher salary after 2 years. You receive a promotion, or it's really you are sure you are going to change a job after 2 years. So you really need to consider about that. So in the last, I would like to say you cannot just pick up a job because there's an offer. And today our topic is about some people who are working in the industry you wouldn't imagine before. But when you see those people who are successful in those industries, but actually for yourself, if you don't prepare for that, and it might be dangerous for you to try to apply or try to work for this industry because you have no idea about that. And let's say you cannot pick up a job just because there's an offer, and a narrow sense of job is to make a living. But a job reference more. And when you graduate from the university, you start a new job, and you just many things change. For example, maybe you don't use the public transportation anymore, and you have the money now, and you use your own car, and you have to wake up regularly 7 a.m. in the morning and go to bed 10 p.m. in the evening because you need to have a regular lifestyle in order to work for the company. And you will find that the expensive restaurant now is affordable for you because you can now spend 1 week's cost of a student, living cost of a student to have a dinner in a fancy restaurant. Or you can, or you will find out that and your friends nearby are changing. And previously, most of your friends are students. After you get a job, and most of your friends are employee, or they also have a job. So I would like to say a job is not just a job. It's actually a part of a life. So thank you very much. If you have any follow-up questions, please do not hesitate to ask. So this summarizes my today's presentation. So Antonio, Elena, and Nayeli, Rob, and Sanja, and thank you very much for your attending. And yes, please let me know if you have any questions. I'm a little bit stressful actually because I found many animations in my PowerPoint was disappeared. So yes. Also, thank you to the organization of the Industrial Municipal Association and the Oceans Network. Thank you for the ICU net. And yes, if you have any questions about this career development, especially in consulting and legal industry, I would very much to have an in-depth communication with you and rather more familiar with these two industries. Okay, so I wish you a nice weekend, and yeah, thank you for all the participants.